This sonnet is very much about the war in our culture between the zombie and fairy worldviews. This is The World is Too Much With Us by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us late and soon. Getting and spending we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon. The winds that will be howling at all hours and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything we are out of tune. It moves us not. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan suckled in a creed outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn. Have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. The rhythm of the first two lines reinforces Wordsworth's view of the world as dominated by science, industry, and commerce. Let's scan the first line. The world is too much with us late and soon. This line isn't that simple iambic pentameter that we usually find in a sonnet. It has two accented syllables next to each other. Too much. For poetry nerds, this is created by replacing one of the iambic feet with a trochaic foot. But what's important is not the names of these things, but the effect. For one thing, it emphasizes too much. That's what he's saying. All of this is too much these days. But a second effect is that it ruins the flow of the line. That's what science and industry and commerce do in the world, according to the speaker. It ruins the flow of life. And it makes everything too much. Then the second line. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. This line isn't iambic either, it's dactylic. But the labels don't matter. The effect does. What does this sound like? It makes the whole line sing-song and silly. It's like a mouse chasing his tail. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. That's us. Living in the modern world, we spin around in circles, getting and spending. We are like little wheels in a gigantic economic machine. Our powers, all those wonderful things that human beings are capable of, are unused or twisted or bent to fit into our busy, greedy, clamoring after more and more stuff. Little we see in nature that is ours. There was a time when human beings could see all kinds of things in nature with which they could connect and identify. We used to have a place in the natural world. We belonged. This is no longer the case. Modern life has divorced us from nature. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. Wordsworth is a romantic poet, so it's fitting that we are giving our hearts away. It means we've sold out. Yes, we've gained some things. That's what the word boon means. But we've lost so much more. So that boon is sordid. And that means it's foul or sleazy or vile. In the first part of the poem, the rhythm of the lines is unsettled. But in the next three lines, as he speaks of nature, the rhythm settles down and flows along more smoothly. There's a sense of peace and harmony in nature. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours, and are upgathered now like sleeping flowers. The representatives of the natural world, the sea, the winds, and the flowers are personified. This emphasizes the connections with nature that we no longer see, the beautiful intimacy between the sea and the moon, the wildness of the wind, and the drowsiness of the flowers. For this, for everything we are out of tune. It moves us not. We are out of tune with the natural world. Okay, here's the part that I really love about this sonnet. It's a Petrarchan sonnet. It has a chunk of 8 lines, the octave, that are all about how we have no relationship with nature, and that we are only concerned about getting and spending. This kind of sonnet usually shifts to something new for the last 6 lines, usually with a turn. It's called a volta in the first words of line 9, but this doesn't happen. Wordsworth just carries on with, it moves us not. These words are on the same topic as the octave. There's no shift. But then midline, he erupts with frustration. That's where the shift happens. It's sort of a delayed volta. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan, suckled in a creed outworn. Part expletive and part prayer, the speaker asserts that in some ways it's better to be a pagan who believes in a creed outworn. They believed in gods that no one believes in anymore. Even though they didn't have eternal salvation, they experienced something wonderful that modern Christians don't have access to any longer. He explains what this is in the final lines. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn. Have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. A pagan would be able to stand in this particular meadow overlooking the sea and see all kinds of things that would bring him joy. things to which Wordsworth's contemporaries are blind and deaf. He gives us a few examples. Proteus rising from the sea, and the sound of Triton's horn. The ancient Greeks, pagans, lived in an enchanted world. They saw and heard the gods all over the place. When they looked at the ocean, they would see the actions of Proteus. In Greek mythology, Proteus is a sea god who can change shape and foretell the future. He is also known as the Old Man of the Sea. And Triton, he was a demigod, the son and messenger of Poseidon. He was known for his ability to calm the waves with a conch shell. The residents of the modern world don't see things like these, and that's tragic. Check out the sound of that last line. You can hear the horn blowing in the assonance. And it's very sad. Thank you, and we will see you next time.